A. Are they on B? I might push B real quick.
Yeah, I think they are.
Oh, he's so tagged. Nice, kid.
Traded. No! Oh, this is evil! Welcome back, Guardians, to another Dream Team video. I'm your humble host, Meesum777, and today I am bringing you another backline Omega style build we are calling the Shinobu, or the Mountain Stag, whatever one ends up speaking to me while I'm making the thumbnail. Anyway, this is, like I stated, a backline style build. This is a build that uses a bow and a mountaintop, and it's quite effective. I've had a lot of success running this build. I actually combined kind of two ideas. I had a 1v1 with one of our groups, one of the people in our group who ran the Shinobu's Vow, and they were oppressive, and I came against somebody who was running triple jump on a bow, and I went, and I thought to myself, hey, a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there, and what do you got? You've got a really consistent way of killing Guardians. So the way this video is going to work is we're going to break it up into two parts. The first part of the video is going to be about the build itself, some of the weapons, some of the perks, the mods, etc. that we're running. The second half of the build is going to be specifically about the tactics, stuff that you can do to best utilize this build and see the most success with it. So, right off the get-go, like I stated already on numerous occasions, this is a backline style build. This is not, I repeat, not an aggressive build. This is not your shotgun hand cannon. This is not an auto rifle. This is something unusual. And I want to state right off the top, the reason why I like this build, the reason why I'm really enjoying the way this is playing right now, is nobody's expecting this right now. It's a lot similar to Cranky's Unending Sight video. This one's a little bit more agile, which we'll talk about, but it does the exact same thing. Nobody plays this way. This is an unusual style of play, and not a lot of people know how to deal with this. This takes the idea of the auto rifle team shot and makes it really long range, right? That's what makes this so hard to deal with for most players. You'll come across players who want to play very aggressively and just try to shotgun you, and we've got a lot of tools to handle that as well. Interestingly, Arcstrider is probably the last place I would have gone to for an Omega style build, because as a whole the class is much more built for aggression, but those tools for aggression are actually a pretty good use for defense as well. And of course you're seeing some gameplay in the background here of how to utilize this build. We are using the Mountaintop first and foremost. If you do not have the Mountaintop, you can still make this work. It's just going to be a little bit harder. I'm running, actually on this Mountaintop, I am running the sticky grenades. The grenades that stay on the ground, they don't kill every Guardian, so you're going to need to sprinkle a little bit of extra damage in there, but they do an excellent job of deterring people from pushing to you, right? I'm also running it on volatile launch for a little bit more of the blast radius because I want to make sure this stays as consistent as possible. And I'm also running quick access sling. This is one that I recommend for almost any one-shot style of weapon, whether that be a bow or a grenade launcher like the special weapon grenade launchers. This allows you to almost instantly swap your weapon into your other. It's faster than quick draw, I think. I haven't run the numbers on this, but I firmly believe this is faster than quick draw. You've seen, if you've seen previous videos, us use this and abuse this mod. You can actually get this from Ada. If you don't have it, it's pretty easy to get. There's plenty of ways to farm for it. Secondly, we are running the Point of the Stag. This is the sort of ritual, not really ritual, bow that we get from the Iron Banner. I'm running it with Archer's Tempo and Vorpal weapon, and I also ran it for a while with the Arsenic Bite, which had Archer's Tempo and Moving Target, which was pretty good as well. It really doesn't really matter what you end up running here. You just need a bow. Now, I would recommend on your bow running the Icarus Grip, because we are going to be pretty mobile with this, and the Icarus Grip helps reduce the unsureties that can happen within the build itself when you're trying to line up that shot. This bow and bows in general are extremely underrated, borderline overpowered, especially in competitive situations, because you can just tag somebody for free for 100 to 150 damage. It's devastating. For our heavy weapon here, I decided to run the Leviathan's Breath. It kind of plays into this whole bow thing. You can run whatever you want. I like the Leviathan's Breath. It also gives me the ability to shut down supers, which is what this build kind of struggles with a little bit. But if you don't have it or you want to run something else, run whatever you want. It's not terribly important. And of course we are running the Shinobu's Vow, part of the namesake of this build. The Shinobu's Vow allows us to have improved skip grenades, and we gain an additional skip grenade charge. The skip grenades also return energy when it damages enemies. Now, the improvement to skip grenades is actually quite powerful. It makes your skip grenades be relentlessly tracking, and they'll track from a really far away, so you can kind of miss your target, and those suckers will still turn around and try to track them down. Now, if you're throwing it against a hunter, they're more than likely going to be able to dodge and just nullify those grenades, but even then, you've at least burned a dodge off of them, which for a lot of hunters is kind of a big deal, right? There's a lot of hunters who kind of build around their dodge, whether that be bottom tree arc strider with the invincible dodge, maybe they're running some kind of gambler's dodge build, so they can get their melee back, you know, the invisible dodge. There's a lot of ways that you can kind of use this to predict their next move if it's a hunter. If it's a warlock, if it's a titan, and you've already tagged them with the bow, which we'll talk about here later, this is an easy way to firm up the kill almost every single time. It's very hard for them to get away from this, especially if they're within kind of mid-range. In terms of the perks of the armor, I'm running Powerful Friends. While I can still abuse it, I'm going to abuse it. High mobility is incredibly important with this, so I would recommend running that as well. Running Enhanced Bow Targeting. Fastball, super important. Grenade Launcher Loader is helpful as well, or you can run Bow Loader depending on what you want to lean in harder on. I'm running Unflinching Bow Aim. You don't really need to worry about unflinching with a Grenade Launcher because you're not going to be generally kind of squaring up with people with it. You're going to be firing and forgetting, which we'll talk about. I'm running Special Ammo Scavengers because I don't have Void Boots at the moment that I like. So Special Ammo Scavengers and Traction. Traction is nice. And I'm running Perpetuation and Dire Artillery with a mobility mod on my cloak. Dire Artillery giving me some free super energy, and Perpetuation allowing me to keep my dodge up and active. As for the subclass itself, I'm running Middle Tree Arc Strider here with the Spinning Boy Reflect Everything back at you. The No You super. It's great for jumping in front of somebody who's trying to super the rest of your team. You can really just push somebody back. It's a great way of just firming up your backline, which is exactly what you're trying to do here. And the Tempest Strike is actually pretty nice. I was a little skeptical about running this, but the Tempest Strike is actually kind of effective. If you've got somebody who's running in on you, you can kind of just throw it their direction and pull back while you're in the air and force them to take a step back or two, or maybe tag them for a bunch of damage and get some free shots off on them. One thing that I will throw in here, because I haven't tested it, but maybe you can let me know in the comment section down below, is that you might be able to charge a bow shot and fire it before you actually release the Tempest Strike. You might be able to get enough time, which can guarantee a kill. Haven't tested it, be worth a shot. Of course, we're running skip grenades, and interestingly, we're running triple jump. Triple jump is actually a pretty good lift option, especially if we're not trying to be aggressive with it, which is why strafe jump is typically the thing that's ran. Triple jump allows us to really manipulate what we want to do in the air. It can be very, very effective for making people have to guess where we're going, or to kind of stay in the air to maybe get a bow shot off on somebody. And I am running Gambler's Dodge. I don't really need Marksman's Dodge because all my stuff only holds one shell or one bow anyway, so not really important. Gambler's Dodge can help me maybe get my Tempest Strike back in a really clutch situation. That's it. That's the gist of the build for the actual side of the things for armor and weapons. Let's talk about some tactics. Now, the bread and butter combo for this. The bread and butter is the bow followed by the Shinobu's Vow skip grenade. They are extremely deadly. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to generally lean in hard on your bow. You're not going to be using the Mountaintop too much. You're going to be tagging people for a lot of damage. Archer's tempo is extremely nice. You can kind of stay in the fight that way. Poking in and out of lanes, just getting big bursts of damage. If you have a Gamma or somebody who can support you, help supply suppressive fire down the lane, more than likely they will end up killing that target outright, because you've done just so much damage to them. If they can run something like an auto rifle, it's really easy to do. And like I said, the Shinobu's Vow is an excellent way of not allowing somebody to feel safe, or giving somebody the illusion of feeling safe. You tag them, they pull behind cover, you just generally try to just somewhat ricochet it, the Shinobu's Vow skip grenade into their direction. The skip grenade will handle the rest. Like I said, if it's a hunter, they might have to put a little extra, you might have to put a little extra work into it, but other than that, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. And these things can track from like across the map. I'm not joking. Don't be afraid to yeet a grenade across if you've got a general idea for where they're at. You can also lead with it to help push people off of you. If you know you've got an aggressive team getting ready to jump on you, skip the grenade kind of at them at your feet, just, you know, splash it down towards them. They'll have to sort of respect your damage, and if they don't, it's just a body shot from the bow or, you know, some damage from the Mountaintop to finish them off. As for the Mountaintop, while we're on the subject, the Mountaintop is more used as a zone out tool or throwing it into areas where we don't want people to push us, if that makes sense, right? We're not trying to tag people directly, even though we'll get cheeky from time to time and try to do something like that. We just want to throw it so that we can ignore a certain area, right? If we're camped up in a certain area, trying to look down a lane, we don't want to have to worry about what's coming at our back, so we just simply throw down a Mountaintop shot. It forces them to either deal with it or take a big chunk of damage to come get you. It allows you to clean up. Get creative with how you're placing those shots too. If you place it just right in the doorway, that can be okay if you really just want to like let people know, hey, here's my middle finger, don't come get me. But if you want to get that free damage, put it like in weird places where they're not expecting it, you know, where that proximity can still reach them, and they'll like run through the door, take a big chunk of damage, and then they'll try to react to what's happening, and you'll more than likely be able to finish up the kill. As for the movement and for the positioning, like I stated, you're on the back of the map. You're not really trying to be up and aggressive with this, but you are very mobile. Use your mobility to your advantage. If you start to get pushed, jump around, dodge, throw your grenade, like be a slippery little hunter. Make it difficult for them to pin you down. You don't really have a lot of tools to backpedal with outside of your Mountaintop and your skip grenade, so just use what you can to get the heck out of dodge. If you can keep them at long range, great. That's where you're going to find the most success. The biggest threat to you, honestly, if you're keeping a good eye out, you're able to keep an eye on what's happening with shotgun rushers, is other snipers and bow users. Snipers in particular, they have the opportunity to just one-shot headshot you, so you've got to be careful when you're poking snipers. You absolutely can take a fight with a sniper, you've just got to abuse your cover. Don't double peek a lane the same way, right? If somebody's hard scoping down center lane and you come out just walking at head level and you luckily enough get that shot off, don't do it again. Slide around the corner, jump using your triple jump, just make yourself harder to hit. They're gonna be scoped in at head level. So just be careful of that. As for the super, pop your super for when the enemy begins to push onto you and your team is in a bad place, or if the enemy is pushing a super onto you as well and you just need to flip them back and give them the big ol' no you coming from that twirly boy. Just know that the twirl does not happen right after coming out of the initial animation, so it might take it a second, so be careful. I've died a few times trying to get to that little spin fast enough and not doing it fast enough. But that's the gist. It's not a super complicated build, but it is very strange and it's very hard for some teams to deal with it. You can get yourself into some situations where the team is just like throwing bodies at you, trying to deal with what you've got, and they're just getting blown up, sniped in the head, or Shinobu vow from around the corner. It's excellent. It's an amazing tool in a team shot situation. I would highly recommend you at least give this a shot. Even if you're not that more backline player, you're more of an aggressive player, give it a shot, see if you like it. You might find that you kind of enjoy the way that this plays because it's very, it's a very troll build in some regards. Anyway, that's going to do it for me here, folks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. A sub would be greatly appreciated, and a like. Be sure to share us around as well. It does a lot. We are a super small channel, so your sub and your help, all of that means the world to us. Stay safe, don't get sick, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.